Hello, hello, hello everyone. Matt Johnson here from Direct Language Solutions. It's that time of the week again. Question of the week. This week I got a very interesting question from Franziska Wendt. She is in Germany, and she asked me, Dear Direct Language Solutions, so she asked us, which language is the most difficult language in the world to learn? That is an interesting question. I actually get this question quite a lot. So, I can't objectively answer this question because it kind of depends. What kind of language do you speak as your native language? What kind of languages have you already learned, etc., etc.? There are a lot of factors that come into play. But I'm going to do my best to objectively answer this question and go ahead and say either Japanese or Russian. For a native English speaker like myself, even though I have a lot of experience with other European languages, Japanese and Russian are both very difficult. Why are they difficult? Well, Japanese has a very, very difficult writing system. And as an adult, when you're learning a foreign language, you want to be able to read a lot so that you won't take many, many years to learn. You know, people always say, just learn a language like children learn languages. Well, children take 16 years to learn their language, to a level that we would hope to achieve within a period of maybe 4 years, 5 years. As adults who need to actually work and accomplish things in a language, you don't want to be 30 years old, 25 years old and say, I would like to learn a language now, and then when you're 55, you can finally speak the language well enough to work in it. That's not good. So if you want to learn a language quickly, Japanese is a tough one because you got to be able to read so that you can actually learn words and learn how people say things that they say. And in Japanese, in order to be able to read a normal book or a newspaper, you've got to know 2,000 Chinese characters, as well as two separate sort of alphabetical systems. It's called katakana and hiragana. They are syllabaries of each with 46 characters. And that's already sounds kind of difficult. But then with the 2,000 Chinese characters, you also have to learn basically the many different meanings that all the various characters might have, the various pronunciations that the various characters might have, and also when they're together, how the pronunciation and meaning changes, etc., etc. Very difficult. The grammar is very exotic for a native English speaker and for most speakers of most other languages. Very, very exotic. There are many levels of formality that you have to learn to speak at an acceptably professional level. It's not easy. So, Japanese, definitely. Russian is theoretically easier for a speaker of a European language, but it might actually be more difficult than Japanese. It's hard to say. Russian has something called case inflection, like German, like Latin, like Greek, but in Russian it's sort of a different animal. Imagine you have different endings that you attach to the ends of words, for whatever reason, based on their function in the sentence. For example, we have the word karandash, that means pencil. And if you're writing with the pencil, the word itself changes, the ending of the word changes to karandashom. Okay, it sounds easy. But that's just one ending. There are 6 endings, and that's only for the singular. You also have to inflect them with different endings when there are 2, 3, or 4 of them. And then where there are more than 4 of them, you have to inflect them differently. And then it kind of becomes very, very complicated very quickly. Then you have to remember there are 3 genders in Russian: feminine, masculine, and neuter. And they all have different endings, so you kind of have a lot to deal with. So every adjective that you might... Oh yeah, that's another thing. You have to incline adjectives that are linked to the nouns that you're changing. And that's just the nouns. Then you have the verbs. The verbs change according to the person who's doing the verb, whether or not they're going to continue doing the verb, whether or not they've finished it. For example, if you say, I'm going now, well, if you mean you're going to go and never come back, or if you're going to go and come back, you have to use a different word for go. Or if you're going to be going with a car, or the plane, or on foot, different. It's also kind of weird. And yeah, it just gets very complicated with Russian. There are other things, the way they say things, sometimes the line of thinking is a bit obtuse and you can't really figure out why they say things the way they say them, which is the case with every language, but maybe especially so in Russian sometimes. It's difficult to say. The pronunciation can be very difficult. Everything is very difficult in Russian if you're not used to similar languages. Now, if you're a native speaker of Polish, Ukrainian, Czech, it's less of a problem. But for a native English speaker like myself, those 2 languages are the most difficult languages to learn in the entire world, as far as I know. I have not learned all 7,000 languages in the world, so I can't possibly be qualified enough to really give you a truly objective answer, but then again, nobody can. So, that's that. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Hope that you enjoyed this, and toodaloo for now.